North Carolina's Caged Warriors came to Seymour Johnson Air Force Base to pay tribute and put on a show for America's Warriors of the Sky, as the airmen were treated to a terrific show put on by Fight Lab Promotions. The first fight of the night went into the second round before Ryan was able to lay some heavy hands, getting Ariel to the ground, and the pounds begin, and the ref stops the fight. Ryan Freeman gets his first win and talks about fighting in front of this military crowd.
Oh man, it's awesome, dude. These guys are wild. Great best crowd, awesome crowd.
What was your strategy going into the fight?
Man, I had an idea that he was a boxer, and so I figured I'd give him the benefit of the doubt, play hands with him. I knew he couldn't shoot on me, so just went out there and traded hands and had the upper hand on it.
Anybody want to thank out there?
John Helton of 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu, Jim Butler with Rip Performance. He's my personal trainer. He got me in a lot better shape since my last fight. And Fight Labs for bringing me back, so thank them a lot.
Next up, the Slimweights, as Josh McCludo, at 1-0, took on newcomer Ryan Brogdon. And oh, how these cats could get down. Both had their opportunities, but this fight would finish in the third round. It would be Tyler Brogdon unleashing a storm of fist his opponent just could not defend. The fight is stopped 47 seconds into the third round. The young buck, Tyler Brogdon, awestruck about his first win in the cage.
It was great, man. It was everything I expected. What an adrenaline rush. I just tried my best. A little bit out of shape, and we'll work better on that. Just trying to get it done, do what I do.
Did you expect a 3-round battle to go?
Well, I kind of figured as much, but I was hoping for the first round knockout. It didn't happen like that.
How did it feel fighting in front of this crowd?
It was great, man. The energy was wide open, exciting. I'm glad I could be a part of it.
Anybody want to thank real quick?
Just Chad Stevens, God, my wife and kids. Without them 6 people, none of this possible.
Kevin Kennett is stationed on the base in Goldsboro, and he's squaring off against a man who already has a victory under his belt, and Stephen Hudson. With the crowd squarely on Kennett's side, Hudson had to overcome that challenge, which he did throughout the first round. However, Kennett had some different ideas. Seizing an opportunity, the warrior takes the fight to the ground, and Kennett was able to slip in an armbar and claiming his first victory in front of the home.
Crowd here on Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, Fight Lab Promotions putting it on. It was wonderful. I mean, it was everything I expected from my first bout. I had a really tough opponent. It wouldn't have been the same fight without that good of opposition.
It seemed like the crowd was so much behind you, elevated you so much going into that second round.
Absolutely. I have my son out there. He's 6. He trains with me, so he'll come out and put me in the armbar. And I got my wife out there. She's pregnant with our second son. My dad, my training guys from American Brutality in Goldsboro, they were there with me, and it was. I'm a little lost for words. I'm adrenalized coming down off of it. My face looks great, and I'm just really happy.
It's so interesting because I was in the Marines myself.
Well, thank you.
Tell me about the element between the military side of the family and the martial arts side of the family.
I have support on both sides. I have the guys I train with, they're behind me, they train with me, they bleed with me, sweat with me. and I have their support all the way. The team that I'm on, the civil support team, my Army unit that I'm assigned to, they're behind me a lot because it really takes the support from them, letting me do this and encouraging me to do it. And the Army atmosphere of everybody's a warrior, that's instilled in me from basic training. My dad raised me to be a scrapper, and ABI puts that into a good direction. And it's good to have support on every side, even the Air Force. Who would I what?
Who do you want to thank?
I want to thank my wife, God, and everyone who's trained with me thus far.
Another great one, protecting America, was Justin Snow. Having little time to find a gym after changing duty stations, nor a cornerman, Snow proved he didn't need it, defeating Adam Friedman by choke in the middle of the first round.
My PCS here back in January, so I'm still in between gyms. I owe a lot of the training that I did get to my group of friends back in Texas. They got me to where I'm at today, that's for damn sure. And you know, I got my work buddies that help me out.
How much did the crowd motivate you, because they were clearly on your side?
The crowd was literally the defining factor. When I walked out there and couldn't hear myself think because they were hollering, it was amazing.
This your first fight?
This is my third fight.
Are you going to keep this going on? Are you going to keep this streak moving on?
Absolutely.
Anybody want to think out there?
Yeah, I want to thank my whole team, both in Texas and back here. Thanks you guys for your support. I know that I heard a lot of you guys trying to get to where I'm at. I appreciate you guys taking it in stride and making me better. Appreciate it.
Two big bodies out there ready to play now as Fight Lab introduced Ryan Coupling versus Ryan Houston to the cage for the first time. After trading blows the first two rounds, Ryan Houston was able to take it to the ground, and the bombs began to rain down on Cooper. The towel was thrown in, and the American Nightmare, Ryan Houston, gets his first win.
It feels ridiculously awesome. This is awesome.
Now, what was your game plan going into this?
Beat his ass. That was the idea.
No tactic, just going in.
No, I had some tactic. I was waiting for him to shoot. He's a wrestler. I was waiting for him to go to his ground game. Just worked on my stand-up. Figured I'd tee off on him and figured he didn't want to wrestle anymore. And that worked.
How's it feel fighting in front of this crowd out here?
I love it. Love the military. I'm grateful for what they do for us, and glad for all the support. Had a blast.
Anybody you want to thank real quick?
I would like to thank my master Tony and my physical trainer Kevin, all the guys I train with back at home at Full Circle Martial Arts, and I'd like to thank God.
Where can we see you again?
We can see me in Winston-Salem, April 23rd.
Oh, folks, this one had fireworks. Kenneth Pitt Crowder versus Antonio Murda Woodward. These two guys had enough to go all 3 rounds. And if you're there, folks, you're right there with me, because these two could have went even further than that. But in the end, the judge's decision fell on Kenneth Pitt Crowder.
Basically, my whole game plan, I was going to try to work his conditioning, but me and him, after doing way outs, we had a couple words. He's talking about after he knocked me out, he was going to salute me, so that changed my whole game plan. So I decided I was going to push the pace because I didn't think he was in enough shape to run with me. And I can thank my team of Rickion because they pushed us hard in practice. So this win is for me and a Rickion. And I want to give a shout out to all the Rickion kids going up to New York this weekend. Okay, I wish y'all good luck.
And finally, the title fight between Mike the Kid Powell and Salah Hamido. Powell in his first title defense after gaining it in October, and Hamido in his second attempt trying for the belt since a loss in July. Big slams and the ground game reigned supreme throughout the fight. But it was this slam in the second round that led to what Powell does best, the submissions, folks. A rear naked choke would help keep the Fight Lab featherweight title in Powell's hands. But with the win, would this lead to another fight opportunity?
We're gonna start doing cross promotions, Mike. No belts are up for grabs, but it's gonna be champion versus champion. Unfortunately for Fight Lab, we lost the coin toss. And the first champion they wanted us to send over to face their champion was you. So we want you to think about it, Mike. Seymour Johnson, do you think the Fight Lab champion can go represent Fight Lab and Seymour Johnson in a league combat against JJ Bradley later on in the year? What do you think?
I soon spoke to Mike Kid Powell after his victory.
Friend here, Mike Powell, just picked up. You didn't pick up. This is the
We kept it. We kept
you
it.
capped the championship. What was the training like going up against Salah?
You know, we trained hard, but I had a couple times where things just weren't working, so we had to kind of fall back and work again. I've got to get my cardio back to where it was. It looked a little shiny. But
To anybody watching, your cardio out there looked phenomenal. You entered in the second round. You know, out of 5, you guys were trading out there. Did he think he had you for a little while? He had you pinned up for just a little bit.
I think whenever he landed a couple of those leg kicks, especially he landed one that knocked me down, I think that kind of gave me a little confidence he shouldn't have had. But he is a tough guy, and I mean, it
He's
showed.
a phenomenal guy.
He is. He's a nice guy, good guy. Didn't get all pissy about a loss. You know, I respect him.
So we heard in the ring that you might be a little swap deal going on between the two promotions out there in Charlotte. You got JJ Brantley of Elite. You got yourself here representing Fight Lab. What's the chances of that happening?
You know, I really don't know. I love JJ. I've been around him a few times. He's always been nothing but nice. He's over there racking up wins. And, you know, I think it would be a good matchup, you know?
As a fan, and I know the two of you, we go back and forth a couple of times, I would love to see it. I don't get paid. Well, I come to these events for free.
Yeah.
I come for free.
You just
But
think-
I would pay to see that.
Well, I mean, maybe the good folks at Elite will want to do it, you know? And
Well,
if
I'm
not,
sure they will.
If not, if JJ's going pro, then maybe we can catch up one day down the road. It's just, it's all about time and place and who's going to make the right amount of money and where it can be done, when it can be done.
Talk about this crowd here at this event. I know we talked beforehand that you're pumped for this. Just being out here in front of these guys.
You've got to be. These people work their asses off to save America, you know, through the skies.
Yeah.
These are some of the smartest men I've ever encountered. My sponsor today, Dan, you know, just the camaraderie these guys have amongst each other and their ability to move it around to people they just met, you know, it takes an incredibly intelligent person. And, you know, Dan opened my eyes to a whole nother look at this whole community they're building up here in Goldsboro.
It's great. I was part of the Marines for 6 years, and every time I get back, it gives me sort of chills seeing what these young, because they're starting to get younger than I am, what these young guys are doing. Who do you want to thank?
I've got to thank everybody that trains with me, from Tommy DiBernardo, who couldn't be here, Aaron Osborne, Joe Hurst, my main man Brian Keller, probably the most of all.
They're scared now. They ran away.
My family, my friends. I've got to thank Chaz for putting my face out there more than it should be.
It is pretty. You got a pretty face though, but you got the scruff going. Well, we're sort of trained to scruff.
Exactly.
Scruff brothers.
I love it. We need matching glasses.
But great win.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you later on down the road.
Oh, hell yes, Chaz. Chazicles out!
Mike Cornbread Allen, the guy who put together this fabulous card. Which fight stood out to you, I should say, this whole night?
You know, and I know this sounds sort of corny, but none of the fights really surprised me. I wasn't taken aback by any of them. we came here last year, and every time we come here, the fighters seem to take it up another level. And it usually comes from, the patriotic pride and knowing that we're here for the airmen of Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. And, if you watch our highlight reel, I think 30 to 40% of the highlights come from here at Seymour Johnson. It never fails. It's crazy.
What was so great about it to me, because I was in the Marines myself, the whole electric attitude, the feel and the vibe that came through this hangar. Yeah. I mean, these guys were just absolutely going crazy.
Yeah.
You guys, I think it goes without saying you guys are going to be here for a long time.
Yeah, I think so. We're scheduled to come back, I think, in the fall. We're talking to some other military institutions that's gotten the word that we put on a good show. And I mean, it's a pleasure to come here. I love coming here. It's my favorite show.
Let's sort of move on a little bit about what you guys have going on. We'll touch quickly on it about what you guys are doing with the Grand Prix coming up next month. Can you touch on that, about the great fights everybody's going to see?
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, and I'm glad you did because it gives me a way to explain what's going on. The Grand Prix has actually been canceled. What happened was, we had a lot of 155-pound fighters. The Ultimate Fighter tryouts was coming up, and so we had 2 or 3 guys pull out. So what we decided to do is we're just going to go ahead and scratch the tournament. The idea was perfect. It's just the timing was wrong. Luckily, though, we still have some great fights on the card, and I mean phenomenal fights. I say this every time, and usually it's true, and then the very next time we outdo ourselves. I look for this card on April 16th to be the best card ever. We've got the main event fight will be a grudge match, beyond grudge matches, Josh Lenning versus Mont McMullins. These 2 guys hate each other. I mean, I hate to use the word hate, but they really don't like each other. Josh Lenning has said he's going to end Mont's career, and Mont has said that he's going to spank Josh like he spanked his little brother. In fact, I think his exact words was that the apple doesn't fall very far from the tree. The co-main event.
Cornbread stirring the pot.
And you know what? I'm not stirring the pot. And I'm glad you brought that up because everybody says I stir the pot and I start shit. That's not what's going on. These guys tell me something, and they don't tell me it's on the record, so don't say anything. So I repeat it. Yeah. It's the truth.
I'm gonna go back to my journalism school for that just a little bit. But no,
Chaz, you got to be on the record all the time. The bread is always on the record.
One more thing before we get out of here. You got joining up with Elite, sort of.
Yes.
I work with them a lot.
Yes.
2 great organizations here in the Charlotte area.
Awesome.
What's going on? I would love to see that JJ
Brantley, Michael Powell.
I'll pay money. They give me money to work, but I would pay money. See, I know a lot of them back. Just telling us what's going on with them.
Well, you know what? It's sort of like, I think Tupac said he keeps his friends. He said he kept his friends close, but his enemies closer. By no means do we consider Marcelo Rodriguez an enemy with Elite Cage Championship, but they are in Charlotte. We consider ourselves the premier organization in Charlotte. They consider themselves the premier organization in Charlotte. I don't think we'll ever find out who truly is the premier because no one's really keeping numbers. He does a great show. We do a great show. So, I was driving home the other day from his show. It was actually the first time I'd really been to an Elite Cage Championship fight and got a feel and a vibe for what was really going on, and I was really impressed. And so I made a phone call to Marcelo, and I talked to him, and I said, hey, look, man, I think as long as we know what each other's doing and if we work together, we could really have something special and we can both coexist at the same time. And so what we've decided to do is we're going to, throughout the year, we're going to do some champion versus champion matches. We tossed a coin. We lost the coin flip, which means Marcelo gets to pick which champion he wants of his to fight our champion. And he chose JJ Brantley. And so we're sending Michael Powell, the kid, over there if JJ accepts. And it's going to be champion versus champion. Neither belt will be on the line, but it will be champion versus champion. The Box Commission is going to allow it to be championship rounds. And, man, it's going to be phenomenal.
Does that mean Mike Cornbread Allen is going to be on my microphones? I'm shuddering. I have to get the insurance. I'm spazzing. It's going to be great, I think, coming up. This is going to be a great year in Charlotte, North Carolina.
It is.
This 2012 is going to be a banner year.
The home of MMA in the Southeast. I go to a lot of these fights, Chaz. I go to Atlanta. I go to Pennsylvania. I go to New Jersey. I go to Connecticut. I go to Alabama. My guys have fought in Florida. They fought all over the country. And I'm telling you, there is no place, I can sincerely say this, the fans in Charlotte, North Carolina are absolutely, they're fanatic. I mean, they're fanatic. And the great thing about Elite and the great thing about Fight Lab is I've noticed that there are literally fans and fighters, but fans, that's what's impressive.
They'll follow them.
They won't go to nowhere but an elite fight, and they won't go to nowhere but a Fight Lab fight. And it's ridiculous. You don't get that type of loyalty anywhere else.
No, you don't.
You just don't.
I think that'll do it for here. Mike,
Chaz, thank you.
we're going to see you down the road.
Elite Cage Championship, we're coming for you. The kid, Michael Powell's #1. When you guys come to our house in June, promise you won't win.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chaz.
All right.